Good morning. My There we go. My laptop has been playing up. I did a whole live the other day and it didn't record a thing. I thought I chatted for about half an hour. It was great to talk to myself. I'm an only child. I'm okay with that. Good morning. Good morning. It's weekend and it's a time for me to spend some time with you because I haven't spent much time with you, and I thought it would be good to share some of my insights. So, I'm not sure if you follow me on my WhatsApp channel. I have a prompt a day. I'll pop the link. Let me just make a note of that. I'll pop the link here so that you can, if you're on WhatsApp, you can follow the channel. And it's an opportunity for you to think about your writing every day. Now, some people do this every day. They enjoy waking up and it's their me time. Some people do some stretches in the morning. Some people walk the dog, and some people just sit quietly. And especially if you're in the northern hemisphere and spring's on its way, well, summer's on its way, just to sit and write in the morning, even if it's just for 10 minutes. It's a lovely way to start the day and to offload, before the day begins, which I think is a great opportunity. But today I wanted to talk about what nonfiction is, because some people still are stuck in this: it's a book, and nonfiction is only if you are writing a book. And actually, I've looked up a couple of definitions, and I've come up with some ideas on what nonfiction really is. So, the most important thread, when I've looked and asked online and done some research, the most common that comes up is it's based on truth. It's real stories, real experiences, real information, real people, real things that have happened. And if you've ever written any kind of emotional Facebook post, or you've taken a photograph and shared some ideas and thoughts on Instagram, maybe you have an email list and you've emailed your clients, and or somebody's asked you a question and you've replied with an email, or you've written a blog, or all of that stuff is nonfiction. And why I think it's important for you to think about nonfiction differently is that it's an opportunity for you to share not only what you know, but what your experiences have been. And that's where the connection comes in with the audience. You have to be able to connect with your reader. And you will naturally connect because you are the expert in your field, or you have been through an experience that nobody else has, simply because the experience might be the same, but it doesn't come, it's not the same because it's through your eyes and your perspective. So some people have written about a really challenging life journey and what they've gained from that. So it could be that you've had a health issue, and lots of people have that health issue, but nobody experiences the way you do. Nobody learns the lessons from that or comes out of a really challenging relationship. All of those things are unique to you. So it's all about truth and it's all about story. Now, I have written, I don't, the book isn't here with me, but I have written books where there aren't, good morning, Margot. I've written books where I haven't shared any story. And that's okay too, because there are people who just want to learn how to do something. So it's a step by step how to do. So if you have a process that you guide people through in your job, step by step, then you have something to share. It's still the truth, but it's not necessarily your story. And I think that's the important element. Some people are a little bit concerned about sharing their story. That's fine. You don't have to share your story. I was born here. I was, all of those things, because that is a very different take on it. But a story could be a snap moment in time where you have experience something. So maybe it's been with a client, maybe it's been in the workplace, or in your personal life. And it's like the time when something happened to illustrate a point. So it's really important that you think about nonfiction very, very differently. And I'm sure if you went back and had a look at what you've written this week, whether you've used a pen and paper or whether you've typed something, you have shared non-fiction this week. You might have commented on a social media post and said, oh, I agree with this, but I do it this way. Maybe something that has happened you shared with people without realizing it, even with an email for with work clients or colleagues. So let's have a think about where you can be writing non-fiction. So I've mentioned social media. Now, if you have a website, you might write a blog. So maybe you share some personal insights. Now, another place where you write quite a lot of non-fiction without realizing it is when you have a website, and you write the about page. So maybe the about page on your website, it's all about you and why excuse me, you do what you do. You might have a newsletter. Now, you might have a newsletter for your business, or you might contribute to a local newsletter through your church community, or through your, I don't know, a women's group, or a baking or a crafting group. Now, many people share lessons they've learned on LinkedIn. So that could have been something that you did. Maybe you journal. Now, the other thing is you might actually have a podcast, or you might be going live on or creating a video for a course. And actually, that is also non-fiction writing, because you have to create a structure. You have to create some kind of script, not something to learn or to read, but it's important that you have considered where you write it. So you see, it's not just books, but it's an opportunity for you to write what you know. Now, some people think, yeah, but I'm not an expert in that field. Well, you don't need to be an expert, but actually you are, because you've been through it or you've experienced it. So you don't need a certificate. People seem to think, well, what would anyone care about my rose gardening? I am not an expert, a horticulturalist. I am not anything, that necessarily means that people will go, oh, Dawn is an expert in roses. No. If I've grown roses beautifully for many years and I know all the tricks because I've gathered them from other people, then you know what? I am an expert. My roses look amazing. Well, they don't, by the way, but I just thought I would share that. I've got a frog in my throat today. It's been also, people seem to think that when they write something, it has to be non-fiction has to be formal or serious. And that's not the case either. It doesn't have to be a university essay or a thesis. It can be as fun and engaging and you as you want it to be. Lots of people write really cheeky stuff, which is even better because it's engaging and it's your voice. And you also, this is the other thing, but I am not a writer. And I just think, oh, you write every single day and you really, really are a writer. If you put pen to paper for any reason, or you open your laptop and you open a Word document, or you open an email or social media, you are a writer. So this that people seem to think, well, I'm not a writer. I'm not going to be writing. Writers are people like, I don't know, J.K. Rowling. That's not the case. You are a writer. So the other thing I want you to really think about as well is that nonfiction really, really matters. How else do we learn from people? How else do we grow? Well, I get books recommended to me all the time. And those people are not, they didn't call themselves writers. So I've got this, I actually, through a connection, there was a gentleman who is a financial expert. And he struggled to explain to his children about money. So he wrote this amazing book, and I just love it. It's Grandpa's Fortune Fables, and it's to teach kids about money. And it's these little stories that he's created, these little characters, and helps kids learn about saving, about, and it's written with such fun fonts, and it's written with, big language and like there's little questions to ask. This is all non-fiction, but it's wrapped up in story. And it's an opportunity for children. Actually, I think every adult should read this too. So, and it's, I'll put a link to it in the chat. But this is non-fiction. And it's an opportunity for this gentleman to share about money and how we can make money, how we can look after our money. So that's all non-fiction as well. So it's about the facts and the knowledge and the education that you can give to people. And I always say to people, if people ask you a question and they say, "Oh, I just wanted to know if you could help me. Can I pick your brain for a moment about something?" Those are things that people want to hear from. They want to learn from you because you are the expert. So, how could you start writing nonfiction? I actually had a friend, she's a colleague, and she contacted me and she said, "I really want to start writing a book and I don't know how. I've got lots of ideas in my head, but where do I start and where do I then take the project? Because if you just brain dump everything, that's not a book." So I said to her, the idea is to get yourself into a writing habit. Now, some people don't have the capacity to write every day, but if you put a slot in your diary for an hour, maybe a week, or an hour a month, where you can sit down and write, and think about starting with what you've got. So open a blank sheet of paper and just put stuff on it. Start about writing true stories or lessons that you've learned or lessons that you want to share with other people. Maybe there's a behind the scenes moment that people don't know about, or a tip that you would give somebody who, like this friend who said to me, "I don't know where to start." So pick one of those ideas, a story, a lesson, a behind the scenes, or a tip that you've given a friend, and just pop it down on paper. It doesn't have to be long, doesn't have to be complicated, doesn't have to be in the poshest language or a brilliant grammar. Just write it down. Because by putting it down, you are starting with your first draft. And I always say to people, your goal is your first draft. Your goal is, you can do anything with a blank with a first draft, but you can't do anything with a blank sheet of paper. And that's the most important aspect of writing. So what I would like for you this week is to write a piece of nonfiction. I think that's a really good challenge for you to do this week, is to consider a piece of non-fiction writing. And this could be a caption, it could be on a photograph on social media, it could be writing a journal entry maybe, or a post on Facebook. And it's keeping it simple, keeping it about you, keeping it about knowledge, keeping it about fun, and just an opportunity for people to want to stop in their newsfeed or open that link because they've received it from you, and enjoy, but learn something special that comes from your perspective. So thank you for joining me today, and I just want you to leave you with a little thought, a simple thought. You don't need permission to be a writer. If you're telling the truth, you're speaking from the heart, and you're giving people something to take away with them and to consider and reflect and ponder, then you will not have a problem with reaching your audience and connecting with the people that really, really need to hear from you. So, as Margot said in the chat, authentic, connection, and write for them. Don't always write for you. If you're writing a journal, you're just going to stick on the bookshelf. Fine, write for you. But if you really want to have an impact on the world, you need to write for other people so that they can learn from you, be inspired by you, and take what you've taught them into the big wide world. So happy writing this week. And please, if you are writing something, let me know below. Send me a link to a social media post that you've posted. Pop it in the comments so that we can all go and have a look. Even if it's one sentence, it's the start and it's you being a writer. That's how simple it is. So good luck, and I will chat to you next time. And please let me know what you're working on. I'd love to hear from you. Bye-bye.